Hi, welcome to new student orientation for the Department of Modern Languages and Literatures at California State University Fullerton for summer 2025. I'm your department chair, Dr. Nathan Carr. I'm happy to welcome you to the campus and to the department and your major. And I'm sorry I can't be giving this presentation to you in person, but I do have to go on vacation sometime. So here's a brief overview of the presentation. First, the welcome, which you just had. Then I'm going to talk about the programs that we have in MLL, the Modern Languages and Literatures Department. I'll talk a little bit about advising. I'll give you some hopefully useful information. I'm going to ask you what you're doing here, and then I'll give you some advice on succeeding at CSUF since you are here. Now, in the MLL department, we have three categories, I guess, of programs. We've got undergraduate majors, undergraduate minors, and certificates. Then we have graduate programs. Starting off talking about the undergraduate BA programs, the majors, we have French, Japanese, and Spanish. And for all of those, study of language, culture, linguistics, and literature enables us to gain insights into other cultures, as well as to gain the perspective necessary to examine our own cultural values critically. This in turn helps us to understand ourselves, understand each other, understand our roles in a multicultural world. Students, after you graduate, will be able to gain proficiency in other languages in a competitive globalized world. You'll be able to analyze and think critically about the world we live in today. You'll understand the socio-historical processes to understand other cultures and our own. And you'll be able to work in education, government, social services, tourism, translation services, literature, and international business, among other professions. Now, the department also has a number of minors. We have Chinese, French, Japanese, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Those all require 12 units of upper division courses. So you've got to get to the 300 level and take 4 300 or 400 level courses. So if you're thinking about a minor in a second language, then that's not a bad idea at all. Now, in addition to the majors and minors, we have a number of undergraduate certificate programs. We have Spanish for Hispanic Media, that's done in conjunction with communications. We have the translation Spanish to English, English to Spanish certificate. Both of those are recognized by the university and they go on your transcript. Then we also have the Spanish for Health Professions certificate. That's a 2-semester sequence. It won't go on the transcript. It's an in-house certificate, but you do get an actual certificate signed suitable for framing. We also have subject matter preparation programs for French and Spanish, and I think maybe Japanese. Those are if you're going to get a secondary education credential in world language, Spanish, French, Japanese. However, if you're majoring in one of the languages, that will count now as well. You don't need to do the SMPP. If someone's coming along who already graduated from college and they want to add one of these, they want to become a teacher of one of these languages, then they have to do the SMPP coursework probably. But in addition to your BA, you will need to meet some prerequisites for the secondary education department to get into the credential program. Please go to the Center for Careers in Teaching to get more information. If you don't remember who you're supposed to go see, talk to your major advisor. And I'll talk to you about talking to your major advisor in just a minute. Now, besides those, we also have the undergraduate TESOL certificate program. TESOL is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. So this is a good program for someone who wants to teach at least for a few years. You're not sure you want to make a career of it. Especially good if you're wanting to go overseas after you graduate and go teach English for a while and see how you like it. That's how I got into TESOL. I went abroad for 1 year and stayed for 3 and then came back and got a master's and yada, yada, yada. There's also the subject matter preparation program for the world language ELD secondary credential. That's the same program as Spanish, French, and Japanese language teaching credentials and all the other languages too. It's ELD, which is California Education Speak for ESL. Now we also offer a little bit of several other languages And we call these the heritage language programs, although it's a really bad term. I think less commonly taught languages, LICTLs, is probably better, but that's what they've been getting called for 30, 50 years, something like that. So I don't think we're going to get it changed this week. So we have Arabic 101 and 102. We have German 101 and 102. Italian 101 and 102. Korean, we have 101, 102, 203. We have a new 204 that we haven't offered yet. And there's a new 380, which counts for GE, on K-pop. And I think we're offering that in spring of 26. That's the plan anyway. Persian, we have 101 and 102. And then for Portuguese, we have 105 and 214. 105 is supposed to combine the first two semesters of first year into one semester. It's easier if you've had a bit of Spanish. And then 214 is sort of a generic second year course. And that's as far as we can go with that language. We did at one time have minors for German and Portuguese. We haven't had a major and a master's degree for German, but enrollment dropped, and if no one's taking the classes, we can't offer them. I'm very unhappy about that, but that's the way the world is. We also have some graduate programs. If you finish your bachelor's and you're hungry for more, we have an MA in Spanish. We also have a Master of Science in TESOL. There is a graduate TESOL certificate, but that's only a good idea if you're getting a master's in something else. If you're getting a master's in linguistics, a master's in Spanish, a master's in English composition, okay, fine. Then the graduate certificate could make sense. If you want just the certificate by itself, that is a bad deal. Come see Dr. Ruckert or me and we can explain why. If you get the master's, you also get the graduate certificate in TESOL. So we have a number of student clubs in our department. We have them for Spanish, Latin American Studies. Spanish theater is also very active. We have Chinese, French. There's an Iranian Student Association, Japanese Culture Club. There's also the Anime Club. We have a TESOL club, and then there's a TESOL research group. Now I need to talk to you about two different types of advising that you're going to need to get to make sure you get the right classes and so you graduate on time when you're planning to. First, there's major advising. That's pretty simple. That's the classes you need for your major. If you're a French major, it's going to be done by one of the French professors. If you're a Japanese major, it's going to be done by one of the Japanese professors. And, big surprise, if you're a Spanish major, it's going to be done by one of the Spanish professors. And I'll tell you in a little bit about how to find out which professor that you're supposed to talk to. Now, besides major advising, there's also GE advising, general education. This is mostly done by the HSS College Student Success Team. HSS, by the way, is the college that our department is in. That's the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. And you can find more information about that just by going to the academic advising website, but also, conveniently enough, on the next two slides. So first we'll talk about major advising for MLL majors. That's you. Each student has a major advisor. Usually this advisor is going to be assigned by your last name. If you go to mll.fullerton.edu/advising, there will be a list of the advisors for each language, each program, and it'll all be listed. If your advisor is not available, then contact the program coordinator. I'll give you the list of program coordinators in just a minute. Now, for Spanish, in summer 2025, we do have some temporary changes. There's an advising reshuffle coming soon. If the website says that your advisor is Dr. Toquero Perez, please contact Dr. Fidalgo instead. She's the Spanish coordinator for the rest of the summer. For GE advising, there are two places you can go. The primary one is the HSS Student Success Center. And that's located in Humanities 112. That's on the west side of the building, on the side facing the quad, right with the steps. You have to go in from outside. You can't enter from the lobby. That door is locked for whatever reason. This is your main source for GE advising. and you can go to their website to get appointments and find more information. We will have an MLL tandem advisor. That's someone who handles the GE advising for our department. We had one. He was great, and so he got a better job somewhere else on campus. But we have a new hire coming soon. I think they're going to start in early August, probably, if everything goes right. That's what I've been told. Then if you can't get into the Student Success Center, you can go to the Undeclared and Academic Advising Center. That's located at PLN 1. PLN is Pollock Library North. PLS is Pollock Library South. The library has 2 wings, and it doesn't matter much if you're on the first or second floor, it's all connected, but upstairs they don't connect. So if you're on the wrong wing, you have to go back down the stairs and go over. Be that as it may, they're on the first floor over at the north end. They do backup GE advising for HSS students, and they also provide comprehensive guidance. I'm not sure what that is, if it's anything like comprehensive auto insurance or what. Go find out. And there's the website for that center. Now I'll share a little contact information with you about the program coordinators. First, the department office for all of modern languages and literatures. It's on the 8th floor. Come out of the elevators and it's just right there. The email address is modlanglit@fullerton.edu. The office staff check that frequently. The office phone number is 657-278-3534. I'm Dr. Nathan Carr. I am your department chair. There's my email address. However, I'm going to be on sabbatical from the beginning of the fall semester to the beginning of the spring semester. I'll be chair, but doing it remotely for the first bit of the semester in January, February. Long story, unavoidable. Dr. Eric Carbajal is going to be the interim chair during fall 2025. For Japanese, the program coordinator is Dr. Kakihara. Dr. Domon is the French coordinator. For the summer, Dr. Fidalgo is the Spanish program coordinator. Dr. Kuffner will be taking that over in the fall, and Dr. Fidalgo will be off for the fall semester at least because she's in the faculty early retirement program, which means in her case she teaches 1 semester and then she's off for 1 semester. Sounds fun. Dr. Daniel Ruckert is the TESOL coordinator. Dr. Liu is the Chinese program coordinator. Dr. Nguyen is the Vietnamese coordinator. If you want to follow the department on Facebook, and yes, Facebook's actually still there, we have a page and we also have an Instagram account. Now, I'm going to give you a few slides here with some useful things to know. First, you need to make a little mental adjustment. You might be aware that old people, like 30 and over, still use websites and emails, and the campus is run by old people. You must adapt to this strange new culture that you're finding yourself in. I know it's kind of weird and backward, but you just got to go with the flow. You got to respect the local culture. You need to check campus web pages to find things out. Read them. In fact, departments and offices around campus spend a lot of time and effort trying to get the websites to be clear and provide a lot of information. We just went through a major redesign for the department website, and that took a lot of effort, and it's still ongoing. It's like if you have a lawn at your house, the lawn is never finished permanently unless you get rid of the lawn and get artificial grass. But I don't know how to get an artificial website. Another thing to keep in mind is that email is how things get done. Something's in an email, that is how professors, administrators know they need to do something. You need to read emails from instructors and from campus offices. School emails will go to your at csu.fullerton.edu address. Please check it. You really need to check it. You will also need to write emails to instructors, to office staff in various offices, to administrators. Please keep in mind when you're doing that, Write as if you were at work writing to somebody at work. That will help you get better results from your emails. I think that's the simplest way to put it. The department web page is mll.fullerton.edu. And if you need to visit the MLL department office in person, I encourage you to call ahead, especially in summer or in winter intersession. Sometimes they're short-staffed. During the breaks, there might be more people on vacation or telecommuting. And then if someone's sick on a given day, you've got one person in the office. They may have to go to the bathroom, or they might want to eat lunch, or they may have to go down to the dean's office to pick something up or drop something off, who knows. And you don't want to come to campus and pay to park, and then you get there and the door is locked. Uh-oh, now what? So double check. 9 times out of 10, someone's going to be there when you're going to go, but just in case, it's prudent. Now, some more useful stuff to know. To find your major advisor, you go to mll.fullerton.edu/advising. Another thing to keep in mind is if you need advising, if you need an enrollment permit, if you have a question, it's a good idea to put your name and your CWID in all emails, especially for permits. Long story why, but it can save a lot of time and maybe several email exchanges for getting that permit. By the way, permits are all done electronically anyway, not on paper anymore. Enroll as early as you can once your enrollment window opens. I'm serious as a heart attack here. If your enrollment appointment starts at midnight, it is not crazy to be online at 11:55 and have the classes you want in your shopping cart and be waiting, and at midnight, exactly when the thing starts letting you enroll, boom, sign up for those classes. That is not being ridiculous. That is goal-oriented behavior, and that means you get in the class. If it's a class that fills quickly, then, well, you're going to want to get in quickly. Another piece of advice, don't self-advise. Do not self-advise. Please, for your sake and for the sanity of your advisor and your program coordinator and your department chair and perhaps even the office staff, don't self-advise. The associate dean will probably appreciate it too, because people who self-advise sometimes get in a jam and you're risking not graduating when you think you're going to graduate. It happens about once a year. Don't be that person. Check your TDA, your Titan Degree Audit. Check the new degree planner that they're creating, and talk to an advisor. Don't trust your friends. I'm sure they mean well, but they don't realize what they don't know. If you need an enrollment permit, ask the instructor. If an instructor has not been assigned, ask the program coordinator. If you go to the office first, they're going to have to check with the instructor, or they'll tell you to check with the instructor. The instructor has to tell them. The university catalog has a wealth of information. Lots of the rules that govern everything are in the catalog. That's at catalog.fullerton.edu. The office of the registrar is at registrar.fullerton.edu. This used to be called Registration and Records. And parenthetically, you may hear people talk about admissions and records, because up until a couple of years ago, admissions and records was one unit. But now the Office of Admissions is its own entity, and Registration and Records is now the Office of the Registrar, and it's its own entity. The registrar's website has stuff about registration, has the registration guides, the registration calendars. Those also have a lot of important information, a lot of deadlines, a lot of things about procedures. It's a good thing to be familiar with. You don't memorize it, but look through it and go, oh, wow, that's in there. That's in there. Oh, well, now I know where to look if I ever need that. There are forms on that website. Also petitions, technical difference, but all that stuff. There's stuff about records like transcripts, diplomas, your biographical information. That's at the registrar's office. And then information about graduation, about transfers, articulation with different community colleges or study abroad programs is something already pre-approved to count for this on our campus. Also, your TDA is on there, the degree planner. There's information about that there. So it's a valuable website. Now, a few more useful things to know. We have an academic resources website. You might need resources for your academics. Go there. We have a library on campus. I believe I mentioned. There's more there than just a Starbucks. And they've got a website with a lot of information, including like databases for searching for articles and books. The Titan One-Stop Shop, that's fullerton.edu/one-stop. Go there and see what they have. Now, just be aware, you are going to have problems. Welcome to life. Stuff goes wrong in the university career. If you're a community college transfer coming in, well, things are going to get more intense than they were the first 2 years. If you're a freshman, this is not high school anymore. Stuff's going to get intense. A lot of people have trouble coping here and there, or here and there. And so if that's you, get help before things reach the crisis stage. You know the old saying, a stitch in time saves 9. You fix a piece of clothing with 1 stitch with a needle. If you do it quickly, 1 stitch will do it. If you wait too long, you need 9 stitches because the thing will tear more. So if you're starting to have trouble, get help before it's really critical. Seriously. A lot of people don't. And then there's drama. Let's avoid drama. That's my advice to you. So if you're having trouble coping with school, with life, with whatever, check out the Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS. It's fullerton.edu/CAPS. That's at Titan Hall, first floor. Titan Hall is way, way on the other side of State College from the rest of campus. So it's way off to the west. It's just before Troy High School. But it's easy to find CAPS. You go in there, you can't miss it in that first floor. The CAPS crisis line is up. There are other resources also if you're having issues with this stuff at compass.fullerton.edu and at u.fullerton.edu. There are lots of resources available, and a lot of it's free, and there can be a wait list though, or just takes time to get brought in. So don't delay. If you need help, take the steps to start getting it before things really fall apart. And if you never need any of these services, great. Sorry to waste 3 minutes of your time, but this is important for a whole lot of people. One more useful thing to know, to avoid needing, let's say, anger management classes, read the signs about parking. Don't pay $80 because you parked in the wrong place. The parking office doesn't like you. They're not your friend. They're not my friend. Well, they don't like me much either. Well, a few of the people over there do. But they will happily write a department share ticket for something, and they're going to write you a ticket too. Don't mess up. Follow the rules. They're serious. Now, a few more random bits of advice. Go to office hours. Professors are there during office hours to help you. Go. It's just a good idea. If you go ask questions, go ask if there are examples of projects you could look at. If there's something you want to talk about from class that didn't entirely make sense, go get clarification. Get advised. Office hours schedules are posted on your class syllabus for every class. They're going to be on the MLL website. It takes a week or two at the start of the semester because faculty are slow to get the office hours in. Not that I ever did that. And then they'll also be posted on the bulletin board across from H835C. Speaking of H835C, what the heck is that? That's Humanities 835C. In Humanities Hall, the letter matters. When someone tells me, I'm looking for Humanities 835, I go, which one? There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It might actually go up to L or M. I'm not sure. but there are a lot of offices with the same number. They're only different by a letter. If you think that's confusing, I'm sorry. This was a 1960s decision. I had no involvement in it. I've got a theory, and it involves weed. It was the 60s. If you can't make it to office hours, email the instructor and explain the situation. Maybe they can handle the thing by email. Maybe they can meet you at another time. And a lot of instructors will have office hours by Zoom. Like I often do mine hybrid, so I'll be on Zoom, but then people come in person, and somebody's on the computer, and so that'll happen a lot of times too. And one other thing, a little tip: being persistent, being organized, that'll do more to help you graduate than being smart. Being smart's good. Being smart is helpful. It does make things easier. But I've known a lot of smart people who didn't make it through college or made it through walking wounded because they weren't persistent, they weren't organized, they got discouraged, they tried to major in beer drinking or dating or active social life or pick your thing. And funny enough, there is not a degree in any of those things. You've got to refuse to quit. You will find things that are difficult, and you just can't stop. Plan your studying, plan your homework. Like, when am I going to do my homework? When am I going to study? When am I going to do my projects? And do the reading. Schedule the time where you're going to sit down and do the reading before the class, before the lecture that is on that topic. And again, refuse to quit. That was what got me through my PhD, was just refusing to quit. So they're going to have to drag me out kicking and screaming. I'm not going to go quietly. Now I'm going to quit worrying and shut up and get back to studying and trying to read this page again for the third time, and hopefully it'll make sense this time. And you just keep at it. And that's how you get through. Now, speaking of getting through, I want to ask you, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Seriously, why are you going to college? Think about it a minute. Is it to get a magic piece of paper? Or are you here to get an education? Now, the piece of paper does have some magic, but it's only so useful by itself. What's really useful is the learning and the ability to think and the ability to communicate, especially in writing, but to communicate in general, that piece of paper is supposed to represent. And that's why the piece of paper is valuable, because people who hire college graduates assume that you have learned some stuff, and that piece of paper is evidence that you did that. If you're going to rely on AI for most of your work in class, how much are you going to learn? What are you going to bring to the table then after you graduate that's going to make somebody want to give you a job instead of just using the AI themselves? Where do you come in? Why do they need you? If all you can do is use AI, then why don't they just use the AI and not hire you? This is something you've got to think about when it's like, well, I could be done with my paper in 5 minutes. Yeah, but you're not going to learn anything. And that does matter. You build skills by practicing them. This includes learning to analyze things, learning to solve problems, learning to write better, learning a language. All these things get better with repetition and practice. My kids can't just look at the piano and have an AI practice the piano for them. They're only going to get better at piano playing by practicing the piano. You're only going to get better at analyzing, problem solving, writing, communicating, thinking by doing that yourself. And the act of thinking and writing in a language actually does help you develop your proficiency in that language. That's the whole reason for content-based language teaching and task-based language teaching. It's actually doing stuff in the language helps improve your ability. And academic language use is what promotes academic language development. So that's, you've got to do it yourself. Now, with that, let me give you a little advice on succeeding at CSUF. I have another question. Do you even belong here? And the answer is yes, you do. Trained professionals have decided you have what it takes. Trust them. You start getting imposter syndrome, stop. Say, okay, yes, I might think I don't belong here, but the university thinks I do. And I mean, honestly, do you think you fooled us? If you didn't commit transcript fraud, then no, you didn't fool us. We, know what you got, and we thought, okay, yep, you can do it. That's what it means when you got admitted. Now quit worrying about it and get back to work. I had imposter syndrome for 6 years of my PhD at UCLA when there wasn't a term for it. I certainly never heard of it. I just was utterly convinced at least once every quarter, 18 quarters, that not only was I probably not going to make it, I don't know how I even got in. It was clearly an accident that I was admitted to the program. I had a 4.0 and I felt like that. So you may have that feeling. Get over it. Ignore it. Just say, okay, now I worry about that, but what I really need to worry about is reading this chapter or reading this article or writing this paper or doing this project. That's what I really need to worry about. And you just don't quit and you get it done. And hopefully you get to sleep that night. Now, another thing, can you learn, improve, grow, and become better at things you can't do now or that you can't do as well now as you would like to? It seems like a strange question. Well, yeah, of course. Yes, you can. You can learn. Hello, that's why you're in school, to learn. But that's an assumption that a lot of times people lose track of. Don't be one of those people. You have to want to learn, though, and you have to be trying to learn. It's hard to learn if you don't want to learn, if you're not making an effort. If you're convinced you can't learn, then you're right, you can't. You need to have a growth mindset. You've probably been hearing about growth mindset since you were in elementary school or something. Well, have it. You can actually do this stuff. We get a lot of people with imposter syndrome. Oh, I'm first generation. Okay, you're first generation, that's great. It is good you're doing this. And I expect your kids will be second generation. But you can do this. You don't have, maybe didn't grow up with models to follow for doing it, but you can still do it. Just don't quit. Another tip, get involved, at least a little, in something. You'll feel more at home here on campus. Maybe it's a study group. Ooh, what an idea. Maybe it's a department club, okay? Student organization, whatever it is, just don't be a hermit. Don't be a recluse. Connect with the other humans here on campus. But also remember, you cannot major in extracurricular activities and fun. I tried that as an undergrad. It didn't work well. I had to change course a little bit. Learn from that. Don't do that yourselves. Trust me. So, with that said, welcome to the MLL department. I look forward to seeing you in person soon. Thanks for watching this video and take care. Welcome aboard.